Coach Thompson's legacy is enormous. Everyone that has played for him he has touched.
I can emphatically say that he was the single most influential person in my life.
Coach Thompson was a teacher, a hero, a mentor, and a father figure for so many of us.
He pretty much saw something in me I didn't see in myself at the time. So for me, gave me the confidence to come to Georgetown and also, make myself to a pro.
He gave me advice. He gave me tough love every single day. Every time I saw him, he had words for me.
He took the time to recruit me and give me the opportunity, not just in basketball terms, but in education terms. And I was able to get my degree and change my family's life.
I never thought about going to college, but he convinced me that it was an option for me.
I learned many things from him, but what sticks out most of all as a legacy to me in my personal life is hard work and sacrifice. Nobody owes you anything, and nobody's going to give you anything. In life, if you want something, you have to go after it.
He's got myself and hundreds of other Georgetown basketball alumni athletes who graduated from the school and became productive black men in society. And that's leaving a legacy.
A legacy of excellence, a legacy of service, a legacy of making a difference in the lives of others. Most importantly, a legacy of standing up for what you believe in.
He's always done that, especially for our community. He's done a lot for us, so just stand up what you believe in and be willing to sacrifice, and he's done that.
But God, I love that man. And, I would not be here, I would not be who I am today. I would not have had the college career and the professional career if I did not have that man pushing me.
I look on him as a father, not just as a role model or a coach. He is someone that I believe that has helped to shape me into the person that I am or I became today.
He created an environment where we could be successful, and the legacy he's left for me is that it's carried over for me for 40 years.
Big John's teachings will last forever.
And I thank God for the impact that he's had in my life.
Coach, may you rest in peace in heaven. We miss you, and your legacy will live on us forever.
In honor of Coach Thompson, I'd just like to take a moment of silence to honor Coach Thompson. So I just ask you right now, bow your head, close your eyes, and think about the legacy of Coach Thompson. Thank you. So I would like to welcome you to the virtual visit with the Ewings. I am your host, Patrick Ewing Jr., and I would like to thank you all for coming tonight. With me tonight, I have my father, the coach, Patrick Ewing, and our great athletic director, Lee Reed. And right now, Lee Reed would like to have some remarks for you. So, Lee, take it away.
Thanks, Pat. Let's give Pat Jr. a lot of credit for the value he's brought to our program during his times here, and he's a special young man, and he's a nice chip off the old block of the big guy. Obviously, this is in some ways an extremely exciting time to be with our Georgetown basketball family, to be with all of you tonight. to have an opportunity to hear from our head coach, Patrick Ewing. But it also is a time where all of us have heavy hearts. And the reality is that's going to take some time for all of us to get over. And so I'd like to first give my condolences to the Thompson family. A wonderful family. We all know them. We all love them. And also the players. Every young man that was fortunate enough to play at Georgetown University under Coach Thompson. Those lessons that you learn, sometimes you learn them when you're in McDonough, and sometimes you learn them years after you leave the hilltop. But at the end of the day, you do learn those valuable lessons. And he was such a father figure or second father figure to every single person that played for him. So we have some healing to do, but we're going to allow ourselves time for that to happen, as we should. One thing he used to talk about, and I felt like I've known Coach Thompson all my life. It's only been 10 years, but I just felt like a lot of Black people in America, I felt like in the early 80s, late 70s, that I was a part of the Georgetown basketball family. And so it's been a privilege and an honor to be here as athletics director and get a chance to know him and this special Georgetown family, which all of you are a part of. He used to say to me that, you should give people their flowers when they're living. You shouldn't wait until they've passed away to recognize their contributions. And in some small part, I hope that our efforts together, led by President DeGioia, our board, our basketball alums, and then our Georgetown family, I hope the Thompson Center was sort of a small step, maybe a large step, in the direction of this community honoring and acknowledging the greatness of John Thompson and what he meant to Georgetown University. At the end of the day, in my opinion, he is Georgetown University. And I know a lot of people feel that way. And so thank you for being here with us tonight. Obviously, there's a lot going on. You didn't come to hear from me. You came to hear from our great coach, Patrick Ewing, who I love what he's doing with our program. You'll hear more about that. We're getting used to this sort of new normal, and we have some things going on in the department, but want to share with you through the night sort of what those things are. But right now, I think I'll just turn it back over to Pat. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Lee. We appreciate everything you do for us, and we continue to move forward with your great leadership. Also, with us on the call tonight, we have the coach of our Georgetown men's basketball team. Y'all call him Coach Ewing. I call him Dad when he's nice to me. Coach Ewing, take it away.
Just want to say, as Lee just said it, today is a rough day. It's the day we lay Coach Thompson to rest. So pardon me for being so somber. It's been a trying few days or week. But I just want to thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to come and share this moment with us. Like I've always said since I've come here, we are not going to be successful unless we have guys and ladies, men and ladies like you guys supporting us. We always will need your support for everything that we do, and this is part of it. I guess helping me grieve. But I just want to say thank you very much for coming, and I'm looking forward to, this year. 2020 has been has been trying, but we have to move on. We have to get ourselves prepared for what's coming. We have some good guys that's going to join us for 2020. And hopefully we'll put some smiles on your faces, even though you will not be in the arena. I'm looking forward to these guys stepping up. We're going to have 8 new faces. And we're hoping the older guys, along with the new guys, will be able to, ease our pain. Thank you.
So as we look forward to this new season in such uncertain times, it's nice to know that, as of now, basketball is still going to happen. Obviously, if other things come out later down the line, we don't know. But as of now, we are still planning to play like we would any other year. And so with that, I would like to introduce you to our 2020-2021 Georgetown men's basketball team.
My 3 favors, back to center like a week later. New car, speed racer, copper crib, need acres. Most of all, we all need prayer. Karma coming, beware. I don't know where I'm going, but I hope I'm on the right path. Life will hit you with a light jab. Mike Tyson, strike back. Going out, slice that. Boy, I'm all about my back. New drip, I grab. I just want to get my life back. There's no complaining on this side. My it's not tolerated because I'm off like.
So those are our new guys, and we're all excited about them. Obviously, we haven't had a chance to get them on campus yet, but knowing that the type of characters that they have and the kind of characters they are and the talent level they have, we're excited about them. So right now I wanted to throw some Q&As with Coach Ewing and Mr. Reed. So my first question would be for you, Mr. Reed. There's a lot of topics that are on everyone's minds right now about the pandemic. And I wanted to begin with a question about it. There are a lot of models going around college basketball season starting as far as what the public knows. What is it that the Big East is thinking at this time? And are you involved in any of those conversations right now?
Thanks for the question. I would, by the way, watching those highlights, that starts to get your competitive juices flowing. So that was a nice transition. Thank you for doing that. It'll be fun to watch our guys in the gym and start to develop this year. But to your question, I think we're all sort of in conversations. Coach Ewing, myself, Dan O'Neill, working with the Big East Conference, working with a Big East name that most of us know, and Danny Gavitt, who now runs college basketball for the NCAA, who was here today. We're all looking at a host of scenarios to play the season. Number one, we feel confident that we're going to play college basketball this year. Number two, we are thinking of outside the box types of scenarios that will allow us to get that done in a safe manner, because at the end of the day, it's the safety of our student athletes first and foremost. They are not professional athletes. And so how we manage this situation will always put their safety and health at the forefront. But everything you've read about are the same types of things we're looking at and thinking about and trying to figure out if they're feasible. There's some crazy ideas out there, right? Every Division I team makes the tournament. There's bubble talk, because I think we have learned from the NBA and some of the other professional sports leagues that to do this safely and effectively, the bubble concept works. And the bubble may not be specifically like the NBA has done it, but just the concept of really reducing the exposure of our student athletes to other people outside of our normal Georgetown basketball family or Big East family, I think that's going to be important to look at those types of things. But I think we're hoping, and there'll be a vote on September 16th, that they're probably going to push the season back by 2 weeks. So think about a start date of college basketball instead of a November 10 when it would normally begin, probably a November 25th date, and that's still to be determined. But it seems like that is the thought right now, to at least push the season back by a couple of weeks. There's been no talk of, at this point, of moving the NCAA tournament, so the back of the season still remains in place. But within the next few days, you'll probably be hearing about a delayed start to our basketball season, which I think, and I think Coach thinks as well, is really wise. And so that allows us more time to do the things we need to do to prepare for the season and prepare in a safe way. So everything you're reading about is on the table. I like the leadership of Danny Gavitt. I like the leadership of our Big East coaches in this regard, in terms of their thinking on some of these scenarios. We will continue to meet with our coaches and as a Big East conference and just figure out what makes the most sense for the Big East moving forward.
Thank you. Also for Lee, kind of to go along those lines, you as a former student athlete, what advice would you give the current student athletes who are dealing with the uncertainty during this COVID-19 time?
You know, Pat, that's a good question, because I was fortunate in that we did not have to, a long time ago, we did not have this type of issue to sort of deal with. But we've talked to our student athletes and our coaches, more importantly. Coach Ewing has talked to our student athletes on a regular basis. Look, this is what it's all about. There's some adversity. There's some things that are out of our control. And I think the team, the program that's most flexible, that rolls with sort of the season and how it unfolds, but stays focused on the task at hand, which is, number one, staying healthy. Number two, making sure academically you're doing the things you need to do. And then number three, your basketball, staying ready to play. I think those are the programs that will be successful this year. So I look at those young men and all of the student athletes in our program as sort of, maybe I'm their uncle, maybe I'm their father, but just ensuring that they're ready and keeping them encouraged. As all of you know right now, this is a very, very difficult time for our student athletes. They are fighting through sort of the stress, the mental fatigue, the mental health issues that we're really worried about. All of those kinds of things are really starting to weigh heavily on them. And so our coaches and our staff have been doing a great job of trying to keep them focused on the right things and staying motivated. So that's kind of, Pat, where we are and how we're handling that.
Thanks. To kind of piggyback off that, Coach Ewing, this question's for you. You haven't had your student athletes on campus since March, right? And, you look around the country, you see different teams and different programs that are on campus, and they're working out and they're able to do more than you have been able to do with your student athletes. How are you continuing to interact with your players and keep them focused on the season coming up?
Just like we are doing right now. Everything has been done over Zoom. Just like you said, we haven't been able to bring them on campuses yet. Other people, may have a head start on us in that regard, but hopefully we'll get them on soon. And then, we start the process. But we've been doing a lot of things on Zoom, things that we, showing film on Zoom, showing the players that we'd be running, talking about our defense, talking about offense, talking about social issues that's going on in the country. Just everything that we can possibly do to try to keep them engaged. We've been doing it for a while now, and just hoping and looking forward to when we can do it in person. But just like Lee said, we just have to be safe. Their safety and our safety is at the forefront.
So due to the trials that you've had to endure over the course of this pandemic, can you kind of elaborate on your goals for the program as we move forward and hopefully past this COVID season and beyond?
Our goals have never changed. Our goal is still, just like when I first came, we talked about building, putting down the foundation, laying the foundation. We have laid the foundation. But just like anything, you're going to have some hiccups. We've had some hiccups this year, some bumps in the road. And one of the things my mother always told me is that whatever doesn't kill you is going to make you stronger. So those bumps in the road is only going to make us stronger. Georgetown basketball, Georgetown athletics is always going to be here. And right now, I'm the person that's at the helm, and I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to be the person that's going to lead us into the next century or decade or whatever you want to call it.
I mean, if you want to be here for a century, that's cool with me. But so knowing everything that you just mentioned and viewing the video that we just watched earlier, can you describe the 2021 team and kind of summarize what you're most excited about? And should the student athletes get a chance to step on the court for the season, what are you expecting out of them?
Well, just like I said, production. You know, we have 8 new faces. A lot of them, instead of being able to go out and see them play, you know, in person, we had to watch it. We recruit them via Zoom. So we still have to get to know each other. We still have to get to be around each other. So all of those things. But I'm anxious. I'm ready. You know, one of the things I talk to them about is when you look at our team, we have guys that can play multiple positions. We have a lot of guys that can do a lot of different things. So, you know, our goal is to be the best team we can possibly be. Hopefully make it to do well in the Big East tournament, do well and then make it to the NCAA tournament, and then anything can happen.
Nice. I love it.
It's funny because I see Eric Floyd on the call. You know, we don't have another Eric Floyd. There's another kid from out of Philadelphia. He thinks he can shoot it as good as Sleepy could, but that's yet to be determined.
Well, let's hope, fingers crossed, that he can shoot as good as Sleepy, because Sleepy is one of the greatest. Right now, I believe Mark Herrera had a couple questions to ask you both as well. Mark, if you would like to ask some questions, feel free.
Absolutely. Thank you, Pat, and thanks to Coach and to Lee for doing this tonight. I can tell you on behalf of the Hoya Hoop Club and the entire Hoya fan base, we really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedules to spend some time with us and to share with us your thoughts about this season. I'd also just like to briefly as well offer my condolences on behalf of the Hoya Hoop Club to the Thompson family. It has been a tough week for Hoya fans everywhere, no doubt. A lot of time to reflect on the amazing life that Coach Thompson lived. And while we all miss him and will continue to, his legacy will indeed live on in all of us forever. Coach and Lee, I wanted to ask particularly how we as supporters and fans of the men's basketball program and Georgetown athletics in general can help in any way as we wait to see what this season will look like.
You want to take that, Lee, or you want me to? I'll take it.
Yeah, why don't you start, and then I'll jump in.
Just continue to do the things that you normally do. You know, coming to the games when you're able to. You know, giving support financially when Lee and the folks reach out to you guys. All of those things are going to help us. You've been doing an outstanding job of supporting us for the longest, Mark, with the Hoya Hoop Club, and we need for that to continue. We also need everyone else that's who was here on this Zoom call to also continue that support. And when you're able to come to the games, we need you to show up. But one of the things I tell all my kids is that we need to show up and we need to show out. Show up and show out. So we need you guys to come to the game, showing up, and then we're going to show out for you guys.
Coach, I love it. I would echo what Coach Ewing has said. You know, let me give you some reality. We are a part of a university that has from day one of this pandemic, I think made the right decisions relative to again keeping the health and safety of our student body, our faculty, our staff, and certainly our coaches and everybody at Georgetown safe. But as we've done that, it has cost us quite a bit. There's been a significant and real loss of revenue. And as part of the athletic or part of the university, we're not immune to that. We have, our budget has been cut significantly during this time, and rightfully so, by the way. It has been cut significantly, which has presented a challenge to us in the short term and maybe even into a little bit of the long term. And so what I would ask is that even though there have been some savings because some of our sports aren't playing, there have been COVID-related expenses that we've incurred as a university and certainly as a department with all of our programs. And so if you are in position to, we need you now more than ever before. And the reason we need you specifically is the things that we're trying to provide our student athletes, even while they're away, those wraparound services that we've talked to our community about for several years, the academic success of our student athletes, we still have to do that work, the health and wellness of our student athletes, the mental health, and adding more support in those areas. As you all know, we had to add a new diversity, equity, and inclusion position. But my point is that we will need your support in terms of making this budget go and providing the services specifically for our men's basketball program, right? Providing the resources for us to remain and continue to build and be as competitive as we want to be. And so this group has met that challenge year after year, but we're asking you once again, on behalf of our basketball team, on behalf of our coaches, on behalf of our department, to please, if you can, provide just a little extra support this year so we can do the right things in terms of our COVID-related expenses and honoring sort of the financial commitments that we've made that are getting harder and harder to meet in terms of the financial challenges. So yes, we've had significant cuts. We're trying to keep our department whole relative to our staff, our coaches, but it's hard. It's really hard. But I have trust in President DeGioia in terms of how he's managed this. This group, our department, has been, I think, at the forefront of campus in terms of giving back. Our coaches have sacrificed. Our student athletes obviously are sacrificing, and our staff has stepped up. We have many of our staff that have gone into what we call redeployment, meaning instead of the university having to go out and hire new people for COVID-related duties, they've just redeployed existing staff. And we have, even today, we've just been, not that we did it for pats on the back, but we have been lauded for sort of our team work and leadership on campus. And that's what our athletics program has always stood for, right? When it's being a part of our community, being a significant contributing part of our community. And so, yeah, I would just ask that you continue to think about us, pray for us, and support us financially when you can. Sorry for the long answer.
Oh, that was great. Thank you, Lee. We definitely at men's basketball have some priorities that on the given side that we are definitely trying to build up, those being, performance-based initiatives. We're trying to use an app called Team Builder, which is kind of like an online training system that Coach Hill likes to use with our guys. And that's, it was hard for him this summer without being able to get his hands on them to make sure that they were doing everything that they were supposed to do in the weight room. So for him, it was rough, but we were able to monitor what they were doing based on this app. Another device that we're looking forward to implementing with our system is the polar heart rate monitors. You see a lot of professional teams using these heart rate monitors now, and it's able to tell you the output of energy that each student athlete will be giving, and it'll show Coach Ewing in real time. He'll be able to say, hey, Javon, in practice you were only giving it 50%. And I don't know if many of you saw the voting video that we had, but we all know that 50% is not acceptable when it comes to practice or your free throws, right? Another priority that we have right now is our nutrition. The university has picked up a nutritionist recently, correct me if I'm wrong, Lee, for our athletics. And with our student athletes coming back and the cafeteria being closed off more than normally, it's harder for them to get those meals in. So we're going to continue to try to allow them to get as many calories as they in, that being food delivery, protein shakes, energy bars, energy chews, just everything that we can to kind of make sure that our guys are as healthy as we can, because like we said before, we do plan on playing this summer. This year. We are preparing as if the season will start on time until told otherwise. And then obviously, continued giving to the annual fund. The annual fund for us is our lifeblood. I mean, it helps us with our travel, our operating, and our equipment costs. So continued support in those ways are very, very vital and very, very important, especially at this time because the added, because of COVID, the added measures that we'll have to go through will be also obviously at a cost. So the more support that you are able to give us, the better it is for us and the continued support of our team. And with that being said, I just would like to thank you guys all for taking your time to join us tonight to discuss the future of our beloved Georgetown Hoya program. We thank Coach Ewing and Mr. Reed for your time. If any of you guys had anything to say in closing before I wrap it up, I would greatly appreciate it.
I'll defer to Coach.
Just like I said at the beginning, thank you guys for taking this time out of your schedule. It has been a busy time for us, not even a busy time, but just a heavy heart with the passing of a person that I know I look up to. I know my son looks up to. He's been nothing but a great role model in my life, and I just want to say thank him for talking me into coming back home. And I'm looking forward to making not only him proud but all of you guys proud with the kind of result that we're going to have. Thank you.
Well, and I echo what Coach Ewing would say. I want to thank all of you for being part of our Georgetown Hoya basketball family. What Coach Thompson started out building, whatever 1972, whenever it was, the legacy he's left behind will live on forever. And Coach Ewing, he is proud of you. I know he is. He is because of how he approached the game of college basketball, that these are young men who we are responsible for helping their formation. And he never approached the game as if it was just basketball. He talked about that, and you're a perfect example of his legacy and what he meant by that. And so how you live your life and how Pat Jr. lives his life, and we could go on and on with the young men in our program. That's what this is all about. Yes, we will, and we want to win Big East and national championships. We're not going to, and I've told this group, we're never going to shy away from that. That is who we are, and we embrace that. And we're working hard every day to get to that point. But more importantly, it's how we get there. And Coach Ewing is continuing the legacy of ensuring that our young men are developing off the court, academically, spiritually, as well as basketball players. And Coach Thompson wouldn't have it any other way, and Coach Ewing wouldn't have it any other way. And so I would say continue to hang with us. This is a special program, and this week kind of shows you how special this program is. And it's special because of the young men who have played in this program, the coaches that we've had in this program, and the support that our Hoya family gives to us. And so as the advocates and the people who will be out on the front lines supporting this group, when you go into your communities, always remember that this is bigger. It's bigger. It's 18 to 22-year-old young men that came here for us to help them develop into the young men we all want them to be. And just make sure you always keep that perspective. We're going to get to where we want to get to, but we can't get there without you being supportive of us. And the thing I saw today somewhere where Coach Thompson, fiercely loyal, Patrick Ewing, fiercely loyal to this university. And we should remember that as we're moving forward, because it's easy when you're already there. It's when you're building it back that you really know who's with you. And I know everybody on this call is with us, but I also need you to stay strong and fight for us, because we're doing the right things and Coach Ewing's doing the right things with this program, and we will get there. So thank you very much for being here today. Mark, I appreciate you as Hoya Hoop Club president and for what you do for us as well. It's not always an easy job, but I know, and I know Coach Ewing knows you're with us, man, 100%, and everybody else on the call as well. We really appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lee. And before I close here, Coach Ewing, I wanted to ask you a question. Having gone through, having gotten COVID-19, what do you take away from that? Like, it's great to see how you look now. I mean, as someone who was there when you had it, you look way better than you did during those about 4 weeks when you were bad. But you look way better right now. And what did you take away from that? And how do you advance this to your players to let them know that this is not something that they want to get, to make sure that they stay safe when they are on campus?
Just like you said, you were in the fight with me. I thank you. I guess I raised you right, because you came here, you stuck here with me, even though I was telling you to go home to be with your family. You stayed here with me and made sure that I got through that struggle. But one of the things I'll be telling them is that they have to stay safe. They have to understand that we have a lot of rules and guidelines that we have implemented. Lee has implemented, and I, along with myself, about trying to keep them safe. And they have to adhere to it. They have to follow it. They have to stay safe. They can't be going out. You see all of these stories about these kids partying on all these other campuses. They can't do that. They have to make sure that not only they stay safe, but also us as older coaches like myself, older men, we stay safe. I see Louis Orrs on the call. He's another one of our elder statesmen. We have to keep everybody safe. So that's the thing. It not only affects you physically, it also affects you mentally. I had the chills, and I had the high temperature, and I had a blood clot near my lung. Thank God that, they found it before it entered into my lung and was able to put me on blood thinners. But all of those things affect you. And then, you don't know about the heart conditions that can come out of it. So you definitely want to make sure that everyone stays safe and do the best you can, which is what I was doing, and I still called it, do the best you can to stay safe, and that's it.
Thank you, Coach. With that being said, I thank you all for coming. I hope that all of you remain safe and healthy during these times. We look forward to seeing you when we can at the earliest convenience, whether it's at a practice or if it's at a game at Capital One. I thank you all so much for spending your evening with us, and good night.
Yes, thank you. We really appreciate it. Continue to support us.